Tonight, we find ourselves in Bristol, Tennessee. Recognized as the birthplace of country music, but better known as Thunder Valley. Home of the world's fastest half mile, the last great Coliseum. This season, 7 drivers have wins in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, but 6 of them have never had a win at Bristol. 5 of them are already in the chase. And only 4 races remain in the regular season. 3 chase berths are up for grabs. This is a track where the last 2 laps mean everything. The one and only Camping World Truck Series race at Bristol.
Race fans, are you ready?
And it starts now.
Some tracks have their own personality. This is certainly one of those racetracks. The world's fastest half mile, it is Bristol. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, 200 laps, and we've waited for it through some rain delays, and now we're just about ready to get going. Glad to have you with us tonight. Finally, we're about ready to go racing along with Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons. I'm Vince Welch. Thanks for sticking with us. It's been a drama-filled day here today at Bristol. The qualifying record shattered. 2 chase contenders going to backup trucks, and Phil, the track, I mean, it's provided as many questions as it has answers today.
It really has. This has always been a fast racetrack. It's called the world's fastest half mile. Things happen so fast here, but when we came here, we had no idea what this racetrack was going to bring. This is how quick things happen here. That's Cole Custer. It led a good bit of that race. Spencer Gallagher gets turned around. He has nowhere to go. Things happen so quick here. And if that's not bad enough, when we come here, they modified this racetrack. They worked on the bottom of this racetrack. They polished it. They drug tires on it to put rubber on it, and then they put a sealer on it, a very sticky sealer on it. The guys went nowhere near that in the first practice session, but in the second practice, they found that there was speed there. They were a full 4 miles an hour faster than the pole last year with the exact same tires. So these guys have no idea what this racetrack is going to do tonight, whether that bottom groove is going to stay fast, they're going to have to move around. Nobody knows what's going to go on.
Okay, so they had a rookie meeting today. Matt Crafton, our champion, he hosted that rookie meeting, and 18 guys sat down for that meeting. Over half the field were there, and Matt Crafton told him what his experience was and what he thought this track was going to do. When those rookies hit the track, I bet they thought, that guy's full of it. This track is nothing like that. The guys don't know, and that's what makes it so fun. So not only do you have these rookies out there racing around trying to learn and do well at this track, you've got guys battling for a chase spot as well. There's only 5 points that separate the 4 guys on the chase bubble. We've got everything lined up to make tonight one of the best races of the year.
You talk about Matt Crafton and being the 2-time series champ. You think he's telling secrets? He's not telling too many secrets to these young kids. But, man, the young drivers have been so impressive, including William Byron, who's won 5 times this season. Could he possibly win again in his first trip to Bristol?
I think so. Everywhere we go, every test we've posed for that young man, he's passed it. And remember, after his first win and before his second, he graduated from high school in Charlotte, North Carolina. Not only is he a great driver and has done an amazing job with that team, he's a great representative to the sport. Phil, a wonderful sponsor on the side of his truck in Liberty University, and I love his spirit and his heart. He's been a lot of fun to watch. He goes to Pocono. He didn't know much about that place. How'd that turn out for him?
Yeah, it turned out pretty good for him, like a lot of places that he went to here. And he's led by Rudy Fugel, who's had so much experience. There he is going by Timothy Peters, one of our strong veterans. Goes to victory lane for the 5th time this year, and he does have a little bit of experience here. He ran a K&N race last year in his championship season and finished 2nd, so at least he's not an unknown here when it comes to Bristol. But again, I think this racetrack is going to be unknown. I'm sure Matt Crafton said the fast way around this racetrack in that rookie meeting is going to be right up against the outside wall, and we only saw 1 truck run against the outside wall today, and that was Tyler Reddick, and he got into the outside wall trying to do it.
The numbers on William Byron this season, so impressive. Won more truck races this season than any rookie in series history. He's done it 5 times, broke a record previously held by Kurt Busch, a guy that could get around just about any racetrack he ever met.
And he's also won 4 of the last 6, Vince, so he's in the middle of a tremendous role as he marches toward our playoffs.
Brad Keselowski Racing has won the last 2 races here at Bristol. They have one of their drivers go into a backup truck. That's Daniel Hemrick. And how about from ThorSport, Rico Abreu, and the effort this team has put forth to get his backup ready to go?
His backup wasn't anywhere near ready. They had all 4 teams represented working on this truck, getting it on the racetrack. It looks like it just rolled off the truck. It looks just like that, but I can tell you there was so much work to do to that truck, and I'm so glad that these guys were able to get that truck on the line.
All hands on deck from the ThorSport group to get that 98 truck ready. We're finally about ready to go. We go downstairs for the command.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome our Grand Marshal, the President of UNOH, Dr. Jeff Jarvis.
On behalf of everyone at the University of Northwestern Ohio, to you, the NASCAR Nation, it's Bristol, baby! Drivers, start your engines!
Fired up. You're ready, Larry. Okay, there's a truck fired up there, driver and door.
The personality in that command is perfect for the venue. It is Bristol, baby, and we're about ready to go racing. The skies are dry for now. That's good news. We've been through a bit of a rain delay, but it is about time to go racing on the world's fastest half mile. It's Bristol, 32 trucks getting ready to do business on a Camping World track description. Mikey, it is a special place.
Yeah, it is, and we talked about those turns, how we're not sure how these guys are going to navigate them. 24 to 28 degree banking, more banking at the top of the track. But Vince, what sticks out to me there, those 650 feet straightaways, that means at a 15-second lap, you're holding it about 3 seconds straight on each straightaway. That's it.
Let's take a look at our Camping World track description. You see this race, 200 laps, a little over 100 miles. Caution clock is going to come on somewhere between 75 and 80 laps. We're going to have a competition caution at lap 40 because of the rain, and our fuel window, if you had to do it, was somewhere between 120 and 130 laps.
One stop possible, 2 stops.
Yeah, one stop definitely possible, but actually we're going to probably stop at 40, and then the caution clock would come on if we went that far.
Yep. Down on pit road is Hermie Sadler and Caitlin Vincey. Get final thoughts, beginning with Caitlin.
Well, Vince, Brad Keselowski Racing circled Bristol Motor Speedway on the schedule as an opportunity race for them based on their success here in the past. But both drivers had to overcome some adversity in the early goings of this race. Starting with first practice, Daniel Hemrick in that 19 truck hit the wall, had to go to a backup, but he was still able to qualify 12th. His teammate, Tyler Reddick in the 29 truck, similar situation, hit the wall, but they were able to patch up that truck. He is sitting on the pole, and another thing that is playing into these guys' favors, both of their crew chiefs, Chad Kendrick and Doug Randolph, they have both won here at Bristol Motor Speedway, one with team owner Brad Keselowski in 2014, the other with Ryan Blaney just last season. Hermie?
Well, Caitlin, Timothy Peters is 31 points to the good as far as being qualified for a chance to win for a championship this year in the Camping World Truck Series, but he wants to get a win to solidify that position. And when you think about Bristol, you think about winning if you're Timothy Peters. Back in 2012, Timothy Peters led all 204 laps to go to victory lane at this racetrack, so you know they had this race marked on their calendar. However, today has been a struggle for Timothy Peters and his 17 team. He qualified 25th. Truck was a little bit loose. If he's going to get that victory, he's going to have to pass a lot of trucks on a very, very tight racetrack tonight, Vince.
We're looking forward to it to see whether or not Timothy Peters can make the charge, and he's carrying one of our onboards tonight, Phil.
Yeah, he's driving the Red Horse Toyota. As Hermie mentioned, he's 31 points to the good, but really anything can happen. You get a new winner in, that really changes the dynamic. We're cut out for him starting back in 25th.
We're going to take some chances with John Hunter Nemechek. He's carrying our bumper can, rolling off from the 16th position. John Hunter's already got a win this season. Look at that view, guys. It's going to be exciting from the front of this number 8 Chevy.
We're going to ride along on the Ford on board of Daniel Hemrick. Daniel's driving that Blue Gate Bank Ford for Brad Keselowski, and he will start from the 12th spot.
Let's roll up to the 3rd row and hop on board with William Byron. What else can be said? 5 wins this year. He's our point leader. He's our championship favorite, but can he come to Bristol and win for the first time?
That's interesting. The Kyle Busch Motorsports teams, including William Byron, they were here for a test in April after the Cup race in the spring. Did almost 500 laps as you see the trucks that have had to go to the rear for unapproved adjustments, and of course the 98 of Rico Abreu in a backup truck.
And Austin Cindric actually flat spotted his tires, spun twice during the qualifying session. He qualified on flat spotted tires. An amazing job by that young man.
That's exactly right, Phil. But those guys are most happy about this competition caution. But can they make it to lap 40 without getting lapped? I think they're going to probably need a caution before then. And with all the uncertainty about the track, I'm pretty certain that we'll see just that.
There's Daniel Suarez on the outside in that orange 51 Toyota. Tyler Reddick, the pole winner, on the inside in that 29, that blue truck for Brad Keselowski Racing in the Ford. The first pole victory for Ford this season, the third career pole for Reddick. They're off turn 4, and for the 19th time, the trucks are racing at Bristol. Cindric looks to be a bit slow right out of the gate, and Suarez not wasting any time on the inside of Tyler Reddick for the lead.
And give 1 point to Reddick. He led lap number 1. Look at that bottom of the racetrack. That grip, go.
You can see Reddick just dives to the bottom behind Suarez. Not a good start for Reddick, but he did get that all-important first lap lead.
Rhodes trying to make something happen on the outside for second. Reddick protecting that position inside, but Rhodes gets the position.
How about Rhodes able to make the pass on the out in the middle of the racetrack? We didn't realize that was possible. There's Kaz Grala, also the 24 truck on the outside, the white and red truck. Losing ground though.
Johnny Sauter in the 21. There's Cole Custer in the 00. Led the most laps in this race last year. Wrecked while leading with 40 to go.
And that team's been on a nice roll. They're gaining points. They've gotten themselves right into championship spot contention. This could be a good night for him. He loves this facility.
You know, we're talking about Custer and what happened to him last year, and that's just a product of this racetrack. No matter where you are, you're in traffic, whether you're leading, whether you're running 10th, or whether you're in the back. There's nowhere to go and not be in traffic.
Yeah, nowhere to hide around here, and your view is so limited as you drive in these corners here. You look out of the top left part of the windshield, but you can see so very little.
And Bench, you talked about traffic and being constantly in turmoil. You can see they've already started lapping trucks. That's Mills that they went by in the 07. They're coming up on Napier. This happens in a hurry.
You can see everybody now fighting for the bottom of the racetrack. That reminds me of the old Bristol before they reconfigured this racetrack. But it also means that if you're going to want to make a pass, you might have to use that front bumper.
And watch, that's what Matt Crafton's doing right there. He's on the back of Kaz Grala. He's already made a bump or two into him. He's faster than Grala. Grala's occupying the space Crafton wants. You'll start moving people if they stay there too long.
Now, as you look at our scoring system at the top of the screen, if a driver's name is shadowed in yellow, that means if the chase were to begin right now, he would be in on points. If his name is shadowed in green, he's in because he's already won a race this season. If it's shadowed in blue, they're on the outside looking in.
You see Daniel Suarez, no shadow there because remember, he's not chase eligible.
Runs full-time in the Xfinity Series. He's been a runner-up 4 times in the Truck Series. He's never won in the Truck Series. He's about to put Austin Cindric a lap down.
See Cindric, he's hugging that bottom. He's going to make Suarez go to the top side, and that means Ben Rhodes is going to close in on our leader Daniel Suarez. And look at Rhodes slip up the hill, high up the racetrack, but is able to complete the pass on Cindric.
This is a difficult place for the lapped traffic too. Where do you go? What does a driver want from a lapped car or lapped truck when he's coming up on him?
Just exactly what Austin Cindric did. He went on the bottom of the racetrack through the corner, but then moved down the straightaway and gave the fast trucks the outside line and let them get in the corner and not race him into the corner.
Going around Quapple is the 51 of Suarez. He's the leader. Ben Rhodes hot on his tail, running second.
This is looks a whole lot like the old Bristol. The fans have spoken. We want the old Bristol. We want these guys to ring the bottom and have to push people out of the way. That's exactly what this track has delivered. If you're here tonight, you're seeing a great race. And if you don't have a ticket for Saturday night, you need to get one because the Cup Stars are going to bring this place alive.
Stuart Friesen now trying to avoid being in the way of Suarez, and about to go a lap down.
I like also the versatility I'm seeing, Phil. When they catch a lap truck, they're able to get to the outside and not lose a great deal of ground and complete the pass. We talked about how difficult the lap traffic is. That's Travis Quapple down on the bottom. Look at what kind of chaos he causes just by making a lap around this track.
And look
Pretty
how
wide.
good that Ford truck was on the bottom of the racetrack. Christopher Bell moves up to the 4th spot.
That's our battle for the lead. Rhodes has caught Daniel Suarez. We know Ben's in that championship transfer spot battle.
Rhodes came into this race 18 points out of a chase position. He could still work his way up into contention, and certainly if he won the race, he would secure his spot.
But a good, strong top 2 or 3 finish would certainly go a long ways into moving him up into that top 8.
Now you see our caution clock up in the upper left-hand portion of your screen. Typically, if it runs down to 0 without a caution, then we would have a yellow on the track. But because we're going to have the competition caution at lap 40, really our caution clock not in effect during this first segment of the race, even though you see it counting down.
It'll come back into effect after we have that lap 40 caution.
It's been fast. The track record was shattered in qualifying. Daniel Suarez was one of those drivers that topped the track record. He's out front right now at Bristol. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, 28 laps in here at Bristol, and under caution because of precipitation. It has started to drizzle again here at Bristol after we had a rain delay to get started, and you see the radar.
There's not much there, is there, really?
It looks green all around. Some of that's not going to get to the ground ever, but right now we've got a pretty steady drizzle, and it has brought out the caution. What do you think of the first 27, 28 laps of green flag racing that we saw, Mike?
I saw a lot of synchronized driving. There was guys that were given and taken. They knew that caution, or excuse me, that competition caution was coming. There was a lot of opportunities. Drivers had a nose in entering the corner. They backed out and let the other truck get to the bottom. I like what I'm seeing in the racetrack. There's room to maneuver up if you have to, but the bottom groove is certainly the preferred one right now.
But I don't think we have the disparity that we saw in practice. We saw from 5 to 7/10 of a second faster on the bottom. I don't think it's that much. It might be a 1/10 or 2, and who knows how this bottom groove is going to react. 40, 50, 60, 80 more laps here. Maybe it's going to get a little slippery down there, and it's going to even out some.
Well, and they put that groove in, if you will, or polished that bottom groove because they wanted everybody to go to the bottom like they did back in the old days and get up off the top. And boy, it has certainly worked.
And I think it's more fun to watch the racing like this, Vince, because if you're better than somebody, you can get that nose in under them getting in the corner. If they cut you off, you're going to shove them up the track. The only way to pass when the top groove was preferred was the slide job. Just run in there and try to dive in ahead of the guy that you're passing. This is a good situation.
And I'm not sure that we're ever going to see the top groove get in, because if the bottom groove stays pretty good, before you can have a top groove, you have to have a middle groove. And if the bottom groove stays fast, you're not going to have people searching, moving that groove up like they normally do all the way to the top of the racetrack.
And you know what I like about it? Look at it. It looks like a tough racetrack. Black marks all over the place. You see scuff marks on the wall. This looks like the old Bristol.
It's the 19 of Tyler Reddick as pit road has opened up, and Reddick has come in, as has the 33 of Ben Kennedy.
You can pit now, but you cannot add fuel until the competition caution. But these guys can go 120, 30 laps here, so they really don't need fuel right now. They know the caution clock would come on around 75 to 80 laps after we go back to green, if it goes that far.
And I didn't see a whole lot of fall off in the tires during that first run, but I think these guys are more curious, Phil, about wear. We saw some pretty significant left side wear on these rugged Goodyear tires, and so the teams need to get a look at that and see what their options are going to be later. Timothy Peters started back in the 25th position. If he's going to get to the front, he's going to need to use strategy, and that's exactly what that stop right there was.
And let's make an extra pit stop. We'll make an adjustment too. Maybe we can get a heads up on the field by making an extra adjustment.
You see the rain and the moisture on our camera lens, and do do want to point out that we're down some cameras because there is a little bit of lightning in the area, and when there's lightning in the area, some of our cameras we can't operate them with certain personnel because of the danger involved in that. So cameras a little bit limited during this portion of the caution, as we still have a little bit of precipitation coming down and some lightning in the area.
Great shots, though, man. That was a fun opening segment to this race.
It's Bristol. It's supposed to be fun, and we're going to have more of it before it's all said and done. Lap 32 of 200, and you see that there's a truck that has come to a stop on the track. That was Bryce Napier.
And then Rico Abreu was the top running truck a lap down. He had just gotten lap before that caution. So Rico gets back on the lead lap. He's in a backup truck, started in the back. He needs that break in order to try to make something of tonight.
Yeah, we've just been given the word from NASCAR that 2 to go, so we're about ready to go back racing.
Yeah, I've raced here before on this concrete surface, Vince, when the rain was sprinkling like it is now, and the track just didn't get wet. The heat in the tires kept it where you could race along even though it was raining fairly modestly. So I think this is consistent with what I've seen in the past.
And we've already seen that this racetrack dries them really, really fast. So I think we're into maybe getting a full distance in tonight.
The 98 of Rico Abreu, as Michael mentioned, was the first truck a lap down when the caution came out, so he gets the free pass and goes back to the lead lap.
Which line do you think Suarez is going to take?
Suarez has got to take the bottom.
Got to take the bottom.
And then a big smile just went up on Christopher Bell's face. If he can get to the bottom, be right behind teammate Daniel Suarez and try to grab that second spot away from Ben Rhodes. I've noticed Rhodes, he's an aggressive young driver, and he's been sideways in that 41 truck trying to close in on Suarez. Be interesting to see what he's able to do up on that high side here.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Michael, that you've got the teammates back-to-back there with Suarez on the inside of that front row and his teammate Christopher Bell right behind him.
And we know Rhodes feels that sense of urgency trying to get in this chase.
Cameron Haley down on the inside too. He needs all the points he can get.
How about Matt Crafton already up to the 8th spot?
Pace truck is off, and we're about ready to go green again. Suarez leads them to the line.
Watch these guys fight for the bottom, guys. Ooh, look at Johnny Sauter way up the racetrack.
Reddick got up out of the groove as well. Suarez and Bell with Rhodes still hanging tough on the outside. Well, Rhodes has been sporty on the outside, even though the inside, obviously the preferred line. He's not giving it up easy.
Rhodes trying to take them 3 wide on this restart. Down into turn 3, and I thought they were all going to pile up, but they pulled it off.
Yeah, I really like the way that Ford truck of Christopher Bell looks right now.
It's got to have been a huge advantage for that team to have been here in April and tested. They ran almost 500 laps during that test for 2 drivers that had never raced in a truck here before, Bell and Byron.
I was talking to William Byron after qualifying. I said, how much did that testing? He said, well, if we run up on the top, I think it will have helped a lot. Otherwise, I really don't think it helped much because we're running nowhere near where we tested.
Yeah, but just to get the laps on the track, I got to believe that'd be some advantage for rookies.
Well, you know, William Byron ran the K&N race here, so that was some laps on the racetrack. For Christopher Bell, I'm sure it helped.
Here comes Bell to the inside. He's going to make the move on Suarez. He gets a little bit loose down there.
Challenging his teammate for the lead. Christopher Bell inside. Suarez in the orange 51. A couple of Kyle Busch Motorsports teammates going at it.
Or Suarez is hanging tough on the outside.
And the caution is out. That will be our competition caution as we have completed 40 laps.
I tell you, those guys better be looking in that rearview mirror because Matt Crafton,
yes,
he is a coming. That truck is glued to the bottom. He's making moves. He's all the way up to the 5th position already. What a strong start for Crafton.
And Michael, I know you're not surprised because when you and I were having a conversation earlier today, you told me you thought Matt Crafton was your guy. That was who you thought was going to be the guy to beat tonight.
Yeah, and he's certainly proven that that's the case. I don't think anybody's passed more trucks or been more impressive in this early going than Matt Crafton.
And he started all the way back on the 17th spot here, and we've run 40 laps and what, only about 35 of those under green.
Stuart Friesen, by the way, will get the free pass. Come back to the lead lap. It's our 2nd caution of the night. We were Yellow earlier because of some drizzle.
Oh, Crafton.
This is the competition caution. Crafton trying to decide exactly what he's going to do there.
I think he had to come. I think he got his left sides on the box, so he was committed. I think he wanted to stay out, but he was committed. Good move by him, or else he'd have been penalized.
He made a smart decision there. He was over that box and had to come to pit road.
Many takers, some stay out, but you saw William Byron come to pit road, and now we're looking at Tyler Reddick, who is our pole sitter. Reddick started on the pole, slipped back after leading that first lap.
Those guys pitted off the wrong side of the track, Vince.
I think they have to come in off of turn 2 and run both legs of pit road. Yeah. Yeah.
I believe they did.
They did come off. Yep. Yeah. That's what's really strange about this racetrack with dual pit roads.
You know, watch the 88 and what happens with Matt Crafton as he's contemplating whether or not to come to pit road under this competition caution. We'll show you the replay of that, and boy, confusing. I'm sure it caught some of those drivers behind him out.
See the yellow, 5th truck in line.
And
see
this,
the yellow,
this is the commitment box. You have to put your tire, if you put your tires on that box, you have to come to pit road.
And watch him now. He gets across the line, then he wants to stay back out, and I'm sure his spotter said, no, 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 you committed, you have to go to pit road.
Well, Crafton certainly avoided what could have been a costly situation right there had he elected not to come and ended up getting penalized.
Already so many differing strategies in this race. Guys that pitted under our first caution for that bit of rain. Now some of our front runners, including our leaders, Christopher Bell and Daniel Suarez, Ben Rhodes, all staying out under this caution.
And I think the reason that is because of the caution clock will come on. These guys know they can make it to that caution clock on fuel.
And it's confusing here as to how you take pit road or enter pit road under yellow as compared to under green, as it's different.
Yeah, every time the yellow's out and you pit, you have to enter the pits off of turn 2 and run the whole pit road no matter where your pit box is.
Yeah, you may be the first pit in off of turn 2, then you have to run all the way down that pit road, around the apron of the racetrack, and down the front pit road before you can go back to the racetrack.
And right here is turn 2, and that's where Matt Crafton was when he made that decision late to make sure he hit pit road. And under green flag situation, Phil, you can come down the pit road that you're pitting on. So if you're on the front straightaway, all you have to do is pit off of turn 4 and run your pit road.
So you got to be on your toes, and Matt Crafton fortunately caught it just in time. So we're getting ready to go back green. A couple of Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks on that front row. Christopher Bell on the inside, Daniel Suarez on the outside.
Top 7 trucks stayed on the racetrack. They've not pitted yet tonight.
Back to green at Bristol.
Ben Rhodes gives a shove to the back of Christopher Bell. That's able to push Bell out in front of Suarez.
KBM running 1-2. Thorsport running 3-4.
Caleb Holman right now in a battle for the 5th spot with Brett Moffitt. That's Caleb in the Food Country 75, Brett Moffitt in the 11.
Moffitt has been impressive in his limited opportunities this season, and I like what I've seen from Caleb Holman today. All day long he's been solid.
This is a hometown group. They got the Food Country sponsor on the side of that truck, and they always come to Bristol with a fast number 75 truck. There's Austin Hill looking to the inside of Ben Kennedy. Austin had a good practice earlier today, riding along with William Byron. William finds himself outside of the top 10. This is when things get dicey.
Austin's one of those guys that came in on the first caution. He pitted on lap 31, stayed on the racetrack for the competition caution.
Right behind William Byron is Rico Abreu, who early in the race was a lap down, got advantage of the free pass, and now sitting 12th.
Doesn't that just tell you how quick things can happen at Bristol? Rico was a lap down, a little bit of strategy, the right moves on pit road. Now he finds himself up inside the top 15, racing toward the top 10. That's impressive.
And it's so hard to start, Vince, at the back of the field like Rico did and stay on the lead lap.
There's our bumper cam from John Hunter Nemechek. He's looking over our pole sitter, Tyler Reddick. Tyler says, I like the way this race started much better than the way it's going now. Back in all that traffic, Caitlin, what's he saying?
Well, he told his team that he was a little free off and loose as well in the center, and we've got the double zero spinning on track.
Cole Custer around, did not make contact with the wall, and believe there's any damage to that truck.
Don't speed here.
Like maybe he just lost it and trying to see if he maybe got a little help.
Down.
Made a move to the inside. Ooh, made some contact with Ben Kennedy.
Well, Ben tried to protect the inside, and Custer had already committed there, and they made contact.
Under caution for the third time tonight for Cole Custer on the spin. If you've tuned into FS1 looking for UFC tonight, it will air in its entirety after our race broadcast. Got started a little bit late because of some rain. And before that yellow came out, Caitlin Vincey was reporting on Tyler Reddick. And let's finish up her report. Caitlin?
Yes, Vince, Tyler was just telling his team he's a little bit free off and loose in the center on that last pit stop. They made a track bar adjustment. Right now he's telling his team, I'm really struggling on running up high. His crew chief said, don't overdo it when you run high. Run at 80% when you do. Hermie.
The 51 of Daniel Suarez, his truck is tight center exit, actually on the splitter a little bit as he enters the corner as well. The longer they run, the tighter this truck gets in the center. Could be an issue with him starting on the bottom on this restart.
I think this is team orders. Hermie, I believe that Daniel's going to start on the inside and let Christopher clear him getting down into the first turn. We'll see if that does take place. I got a couple of teammates right behind them that are going to be able to hopefully spoil this plan. That's their goal.
We see that technique quite a bit these days. It allows both drivers to protect their position.
I think it's a good move, especially when it works properly.
And that's exactly what happened. There you see Christopher Bell to the inside. Suarez is down on the bottom, doesn't take a chance on losing that second spot away to Ben Rhodes. But look, here comes Rhodes looking up the inside, 3 wide.
How about Cameron Haley around the outside of Suarez and Caleb Holman taking a look?
I like what I'm seeing on the outside of this racetrack, or I should say middle of the racetrack.
Remember, Holman was running in the top 5 here a year ago, so he can get it done here at Bristol. It's fun seeing that 75 truck running up front. I remember Rick Wilson back in the day winning a Busch Series race here in the 75, and he's running strong tonight.
That was back when they ran Winston Cup cars as well, right?
Suarez is going to secure that third spot.
Anytime there's rain at the racetrack, you've got time to reminisce. And Phil, you and I have been talking about all the great races over the years here at Bristol Motor Speedway. I knew that's why that Winston Cup suggestion slipped in there.
NASCAR is taking a look. We're told at that restart it is under review to make sure that everything went off accordingly.
Well, there was no way that Daniel Suarez jumped on that restart.
Oh, we got a spin down in turn 4.
And it's the 44 of Tommy Joe Martins. And the caution is out.
Rolling here, got some tire smoke, guys.
In fact, we've got a couple of them that have, besides Martins, who have come to a stop.
Yeah, they just stopped because they couldn't see. Martins bowled the tires, blocked the track with smoke. They came to a stop. Now they can't get going.
Under caution for the 4th time tonight. Christopher Bell is the leader after 66 of 200 here at Bristol. We're under caution for the 4th time tonight, and here is why. It's the 44 of Tommy Joe Martins coming through turn 4 in a spinner.
He did a great job of getting that truck pointed in the right direction, but look at the smoke screen he left for the rest of the competitors.
He was more concerned about himself and getting through that mess that he found himself in. And a couple of our back markers, Bryce Napier and Mills both came to a stop. They're multiple laps down, and that just added to their woes.
Put so much smoke up as Martin spun that those guys just said, nope, I'm not driving through that. I'm going to stop right here.
Stop right here. Well, he did put a lot of fluid down on the racetrack, so the track workers are now taking care of that.
The 9 of William Byron, a 5-time winner this season, and our championship leader came to pit road from 15th during this caution. Let's find out what's happening with his team and their thought process. Caitlin?
Well, Vince, it's actually their 2nd stop so far this evening. On that last stop, they took left side tires only, and William said the truck was just too tight, so they decided to come back down pit road, make a track bar adjustment, and put 4 tires on instead. And I just spoke to his crew chief, Rudy Fugel, and asked him, do you think you can make it to the end? He said, that's the plan.
I just like this, Phil, because he knew that truck wasn't right. Rudy Fugel has made some amazing calls in 2016 that have helped build the confidence of this young driver. And William Byron thinks that this guy can't make a wrong call, and that's what you need between the driver and the crew chief. Confidence in each other. You tell me what to do, boss, and I'll do it, and then I'm going to drive the wheels off this truck. That's what we've seen all year.
And I think it opens them up if the tires don't fall off. I guess we haven't really run far enough to see how much give up these tires are going to have. He's in position now that he could probably go the rest of the way from that stop.
Fugel, of course, was the crew chief for the championship winning team a year ago, and Eric Jones and many of the members of that team moved over from the championship effort and now support William Byron.
They basically just changed the number.
Yep.
That's really the Ford team from last year with number 9 on it, and now the Ford team led by Jerry Baxter with Christopher Bell.
Of course, Fugel was the crew chief for Kyle Busch when Kyle won here in the truck back in 2013. So they know their way to victory lane here at Bristol.
Yeah, the only disadvantage to that is now that Williams is going to be behind all these trucks. So we know what can happen at this racetrack. We know what can happen up front. Cole Custer got involved in a wreck leading last year, but the farther back you are, the more vulnerable I think you are in traffic.
Yeah, but we know that passing is certainly easier this year than we've seen it lately, especially with the ability to use your front bumper. Matt Crafton, starting 17th, drove up to the top 5 before that last pit stop.
Let's check in downstairs with Hermie Sadler.
Vince, a little bit surprised so far. The 8 of John Hunter Nemechek struggling right now back in the 20th position, qualified 16th. The truck has been tight, cannot get it to turn through the center of the corner. We'll see if this truck comes in or the racetrack comes to John Hunter, but so far he's been stuck back in traffic.
Is that an issue with the 88
we're broke here, guys.
of Matt Crafton? You heard the radio said we're broke.
Then turn down the hill. Turn down the hill now.
Major development for a 2-time winner this season and a 2-time series champ,
Something happened.
Matt Crafton. So while the rest of the field gets ready to come to green, Crafton comes to pit road telling his team they've broke.
Wow.
The restart is on, and Christopher Bell brings them to the line with Cameron Haley pressuring from the outside.
Haley took that second spot away from Suarez on that choreographed restart last time, so Haley's obviously really fast. A couple of second place finishes for this young man. He can get the job done behind the wheel. It's fun to watch.
How about Caleb Holman up there, that 75 truck side by side with Suarez in that battle for 3rd.
Really impressive group up there, including the 11 of Moffitt, the 41 of Rhodes, of course the 75, as you mentioned, Caleb Holman. Seen some good trucks run consistently at the front tonight.
Right now, Caleb Holman can't find a hole to get back down to the bottom. Maybe he can slide in here behind Brett Moffitt.
Man, you guys had a fast truck. You did awesome, man.
They're pushing that 88 behind the wall, it looks like, Phil.
Yeah, Ben Rhodes is going to stick his nose in there and not leave an opening for Caleb Holman. He needs to check up right now and try to dive to the bottom in front of John West Townley.
That's exactly what he does. Good call, Phil. You want that bottom. He couldn't make any ground up top, and he's got a really fast truck. Minimize the damage, get back in line, and then go attack.
Lost about 3 spots, but it could have been worse.
Johnny Sauter makes the move on John West Townley. Johnny in the 21 truck. Here comes Ben Kennedy as well in the 33.
Some trucks on the charge.
Yeah, he's going to bring pole sitter Tyler Reddick on by as well. We're nearing halfway in this race. We know there's weather in the area. These guys know they've got to go. Get it done now.
Caution clock in the upper left-hand portion of your screen. Remember, if it gets under 20 minutes, or if it gets from 20 minutes down to 0, we'll see the caution. And again, if the driver, as you look at the scoring at the top of the page, if his name is shaded in green, he's a race winner. Now you look at those chase standings. William Byron Crafton, who just went to the garage with a problem with a couple of wins, so it won't be too costly for him, certainly in regards to his chase position.
Yeah, well, get all the bad luck out of the way now. Matt Crafton had an amazing year last year. He had double the wins last year at this time than he does this year, but let's get all that bad luck out of the way and get ready for that chase.
Look at Jordan Anderson digging down on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to take that spot away from Parker Kligerman. These guys have got to go. They're over a half a lap behind and in jeopardy of losing a lap.
Austin Wayne Self in that 22 right there behind Kligerman.
You can breathe a little bit. You can see the 11 truck there of Brett Moffitt. Brett's got the perfect sponsor for here. It's Brain Gear. You take a shot for clarity and focus. How much clarity and focus do you need at Bristol? A ton. That's exactly what it's going to take. So watch for Moffitt to be around all night long.
How about every one of these drivers right now needs that clarity.
Out the front bumper of the 8 of Nemechek.
That's Kaz Gralla right there, the 24 truck.
Nemechek's been really aggressive. I've seen him put the bumper to several trucks, and it looks like he's doing it again. What a good move. What a great camera.
And how about Kaz Gralla realizing that John Hunter was there and gave him that room?
He's going to have to realize that Cole Custer's inside of him as well. He does just in time. Gives that spot up as well.
Well, if you get pushed to the outside, you're going to be lucky if you only lose a couple of spots.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You can see them all jockeying for that lower line. These drivers are blocking.
This is William Byron behind all this. This is Austin Cindric right in front of him. William's been following Austin Cindric now for 6-8 laps, unable to get by him.
Cindric's our first truck a lap down, so he's trying to fight and stay in that free pass position.
I looked a few moments ago and William Byron was 7 seconds behind. Now he's 11 seconds behind, being caught up behind Austin Cindric.
Cindric in his first race here in the Camping World Truck Series, making his debut here tonight. William Byron, the rookie, but a 5-time winner this season. 23 of Spencer Gallagher. You saw him in the blue and yellow truck, and there's your leader, Christopher Bell. He's led a race high 46 laps so far tonight. Hey, you think it's fast here tonight? We'll check it out on Sunday. The fastest sport in the world in Brainerd, Minnesota, with the Lucas Oil NHRA National Finals. Coverage begins Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Got some hot rods here tonight as well, and it's been a tough night for the 88 of Matt Crafton. His night is done already. Caitlin?
Certainly a frustrating break for the 88 team. Matt, were you able to diagnose what happened with your 88 truck?
No, we don't know exactly what happened. Something broke and can't figure it out. They'll work on it. They'll get it back to the shop. But we qualified 17th. I'm so proud of these guys because we had a very fast truck and race trim during practice today. And this thing was unbelievable when they dropped the green flag. I think we drove from 17th. They got to 5th. And I was really looking forward to the last part of this race. Like I said, I think we're going to put on a show and maybe race for the win.
Thank you, Matt.
See Caleb Holman, he's rallying. We talked about him getting in line and cutting the losses of getting stuck on the high side. Man, now he's moving back toward the front. This is an impressive run for that whole team. Holman's fast.
And so important for them to run here at their home track, run well here at their home track, and they're certainly doing that.
Just past halfway here at Bristol. The 21 of Sauter, the 33 of Ben Kennedy. That's 7th and 8th as they go around Quapple. Kennedy, one of those just on the outside of the chase line, needs a good night tonight. There's Ben Rhodes, another one keeping an eye on the points.
Been real impressed with Daniel Hemrick as well in that backup truck. He's running along in the 12th spot. He can't afford a tough night tonight. And there you see him lapping around the outside of the 07 truck of Mills. He's making his way toward the front, Phil. He's caught Timothy Peters. I think Hemrick's got something for a top 5 run here.
Yeah, I talked to him after qualifying, and I said, well, do you have something to work with? He said, I think so. We're going to adjust on this truck as much as we can. He said, but I think we're going to be okay.
Daniel Suarez has driven away from this battle for third. You can see Brett Moffitt is all over the back of Cameron Haley. And anytime there's a gap between positions, that guy leading the gap, and that would be Cameron Haley in this case, he's vulnerable. He's a little bit slower than the trucks behind him. There could be contact.
Two drivers coming off career best finishes in the last race at Pocono. Cameron Haley finished 2nd. Brett Moffitt finished 3rd. And they are back at it again tonight, currently running 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, one time I looked up and Christopher Bell had about a 3-second lead. Now Daniel Suarez has cut that in half. He's only about a 1.5 seconds behind.
Well, with all the traffic, that lead will shrink in a hurry.
It will. Or it'll expand in a hurry.
Caution clock about halfway through, right around the 10-minute mark. Our longest stretch of green flag racing so far tonight.
Yeah, I'm starting to see some trucks venture up to the top, including William Byron. He was stuck for the longest time behind Austin Cindric, fell to 14 seconds behind our leader, Christopher Bell. Phil, since getting around the lap truck of Cindric, he's moved around some lead lap trucks. He's up to the 17th position, and he's just now 13 seconds. So he's pulled away from the leader. William Byron has found a groove up there to get around some of the people he's racing against. Even though the bottom's faster, there are options out there.
We were watching the lap times, and he was running about 16:20, and as soon as he got by that truck, he ran 15:70. It was the fastest truck on the racetrack.
Closest battle for one of the higher positions is right here. Moffitt under Haley for third.
And look at Holman coming through for fourth.
He's there.
That is awesome to see that team that runs frequently and a driver that we don't talk about every week get up there and be a story.
How about Ben Kennedy heating up Ben Rhodes? Now Ben in the 33, Ben Rhodes in the 41. Looks like there's a bit of a gap in front of that 13 truck, Michael, like you were talking about.
That's where you watch. If you're at one of these short track races sitting in the stands, look for those gaps, and there's going to be action there. Haley's truck isn't up to speed like these others, and they're putting the pressure on him.
Yeah, Haley seems to have fallen off a little bit after Moffitt and Holman both got around him, and now Rhodes and Kennedy all over the tailgate of the 13. Nobody over that tailgate, however. The 4 of Christopher Bell out front by more than a second. When we went to break, Christopher Bell was leading second place Daniel Suarez by just over a second. Now it's under a half second as Suarez has cut it in half with the aid of some traffic up ahead of the leader. There you see Ben Rhodes with a bit of an issue. The top 6 have not pitted. Yeah, I was going to say.
I think everybody felt like they could go farther.
Rhodes has not pitted, and he looks to be out of fuel.
He got a shove off turn 2 by Ben Kennedy, and it sent him toward the bottom. I just wonder if he got some debris on his tires, but he was shaking it like he was out of gas.
Our top 5 and Ben Rhodes all have been out the entire time, have not come to pit road tonight, but with the caution clock under 5 minutes, we're getting close.
Right now, our top 5 have not been to pit road yet, and we probably have another, what, 15 laps of green flag racing here that they can do in these next 4.5 minutes.
The 33 and the 13 playing a little bumper tag.
Watch this move by Kennedy. He's been cut off 3 or 4 times by Rhodes. He gets in the back of him there off turn 2, does a nice job, little short track bump there. That pushes Rhodes to the bottom, and I think you're right. He ran out of gas, and that allowed Kennedy to get in the back of him.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, there finally goes Cameron Haley. Somebody got him up out of the groove, and look who went by him. William Byron. He is the fastest truck on the track. He's raced himself up inside the top 10 after making that pit stop. He can go forever on gas. He doesn't care if the caution clock goes off or not, but there's a lot of them that are desperate right now.
A lot of smoke out of that 13 of Cameron Haley. Don't know if that's a tire rub or what.
Got some damage there in the back end where I think Ben Kennedy got into him a little bit earlier, trying to pass.
Daniel Hemrick goes by in the 19 truck. There's our leader right there, Christopher Bell, right behind Haley. He's going to dive to the inside now.
Meanwhile, you also saw the 98 of Rico Abreu. It's been a challenging day for Abreu. Let's get an update from Hermie.
Tough break for the 98, Vince. We saw Rico go a lap down, get back on the lead lap, and really make his way through the field. But about 15 laps ago, the truck just shut off. It quit getting fuel. Some type of a fueling issue for the 98, and trouble on the left front. Caution's out.
And that's 13. Cameron Haley. Well, we were just talking about the smoke coming out of the back end of Haley's truck.
Yeah, I think that was a left front tire. Remember, we saw some pretty excessive tire wear on these trucks in practice. Again, that's over 130 laps on those tires for Cameron Haley.
And plus, Phil, he was falling off dramatically, so there had to be something going on. Probably wore through that left front tire. Man, that's a big break for the guys that hadn't pitted yet. Their tires are wearing.
Our top 4 that stayed on the racetrack right now.
As they come off turn 2, pit road will be open. I know the top trucks will come to pit road. I'm pretty sure William Byron will as well. It's been 70 laps since he's been to pit road. So I look for Byron to pit, but he made up a lot of ground during that run.
Yeah, right now only 11 trucks on the lead lap.
Daniel Hemrick getting the free pass.
Here comes our top two, Christopher Bell, Daniel Suarez on pit road.
Again,
Caleb Holman's going to head towards pit road.
Under caution, you have to enter on the back stretch, so they enter off turn 2 and then drive all the way around the track and come down to the front straight where
Michael,
their pit boxes are located.
You were right. William Byron did come down pit road.
Let's check in with Caitlin.
Well, Christopher Bell told his team, I am starting to swing to the tight side in 1 and 2, but not bad. He's pretty happy with the balance overall. They're going to do 4 tires and fuel for the 4. Hermie.
51 of Daniel Suarez, the truck is too tight. He also has some damage to the left side of this truck, right behind the left front wheel, but it's going to be 4 tires, fuel, and a track bar adjustment for the 51 to try to get this truck to rotate better through the center. But the 4 truck of Christopher Bell easily will win the race off pit road of the ones that pitted.
Well, as you see those that pitted and the tires that they took, Bell and Suarez, of course, others have come to pit road as well. Hemrick got the free pass. 64 to go at Bristol. Under caution at Bristol with just over 60 laps to go. The 13 of Cameron Haley brought out the caution. We saw some smoke coming off that 13 truck for several laps before that left front finally let go, Phil.
Yeah, he was racing up in the top 5, and all of a sudden he actually had already gotten lapped, was racing alongside Daniel Suarez as that left front tire goes down. Watch this as they drive down in the corner now. That tire's going to go down, and he's going up the racetrack. Suarez fortunately gives him enough room in order for them not to make contact.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to anticipate and feel what another guy's doing. I think Suarez saw 13 heading high. He did a nice job of getting up around the outside of Haley.
And Haley did a nice job of not getting into Suarez. I'm sure he did all he could do and turn that wheel as hard as he could to the left to avoid that 51 truck.
Runner-up at the last race at Pocono. Having a great run again tonight is Cameron Haley. Take a look at our Ford facts. The Fords have gone to victory lane 5 times here at Bristol in the trucks.
As you mentioned earlier, the last 2 times, all Brad Keselowski trucks. Brad himself in 2014, Ryan Blaney last year in 2015. Joe Ruttman started off back in 1995.
Another Ford, Daniel Hemrick, he has gone to pit road, Phil, late in this caution. So
he got the free pass, so really he's going to have to start at the very back of the pack anyway, so might as well come in and maybe make some more serious adjustments if he feels like he needs it.
Probably put that patch on that left front fender and do a little bit of house cleaning for that 19 truck, try to make a run here toward the front at the end.
Let's find out more about what's happening with the 51 of Daniel Suarez. Check in with Hermie.
Well, Vince, we heard pretty much a lot during practice today about left side tire wear. We saw the 13 of Cameron Haley. Here's a 51 left front of Daniel Suarez. This is the outside of the left front tire, and you can see all the way down to the cords on this left front tire. So definitely an issue. It should get better as this race has progressed. First time to pit road for the 51, but he's lucky to get that truck to pit road with this left front tire.
Yeah, and that's a bunch of laps, though, on that tire. We only have 60 laps to go, so I don't think we'll have any more issues for these guys.
We got a sprint race now.
Absolutely.
You've got track position. Whatever you got, you better keep it, because if you come to pit road, you can't win.
How about the 41 of Ben Rhodes? Problems, Caitlin?
Well, it started out as a very promising day for Ben Rhodes, but similar to the ThorSport teammate Matt Crafton, the 41 in the garage area, and I just spoke with his crew chief, Kevin Bellacourt. He said it's definitely a motor issue. We are trying to diagnose it right now to see if it's all fixable, but he thinks they might be done for the night. Vince?
Tough break for Ben Rhodes, driver that came into this race in chase contention. It's going to be a big blow to his chase hopes.
He's going to have to win now, Vince. There's a lot of people that are finding themselves in that same position. That's why the next few weeks are going to be so entertaining for us.
Teammates on the front row, Christopher Bell on the inside, Daniel Suarez on the outside. Back green.
Good start by Suarez on that outside. He was able to put his nose out in front of Bell, and Bell's going to spin.
Christopher Bell, the leader, goes around, and the caution is back out.
He kept it out of that inside wall, I think. He will be able to get that truck turned around, stay on the lead lap.
But I think he's going to have to, those tires will be damaged.
Yeah, I think he'll have to have another set of tires for sure.
And that, I talked about come to pit road, you can't win. Well, he's going to test that theory. That's been the fastest truck in town, and I think that's exactly what he's going to have to do. Just gets loose on the bottom against Suarez.
You know, interesting, no team orders that time. Christopher Bell was in the lead. He had lane choice. He took the inside that time.
I think that's just us getting late. We got to go. Best chance to win, he thought, was on the bottom.
It's going to be a shootout to the finish or more yellows to come. Find out. Sixth caution of the night. This one was for the leader, Christopher Bell, on a restart side by side with his teammate Daniel Suarez. Bell on the bottom, got a little loose, spun.
There he is getting his tires. You know, I love the way some of this stuff works out. Not for Christopher Bell, obviously losing his track position, but it gave a bunch of guys a new lease on a chance to run up top 5, maybe even get a win in this race. There were some free pass guys, plus think about Daniel Hemrick. He was on pit road, started at the tail end of the field. Now he's going to be able to stay on the track, get in front of a bunch of guys, and have a chance to win.
Here's a replay of the situation between Bell and Suarez. Like Bell just got loose down there.
He got loose. He didn't want to give up that lead to Suarez because he knows that Suarez has a very fast truck. He wanted to do all he could do to keep that lead. Just got loose on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, and Suarez didn't do anything wrong. That's just hard racing late in the race. And look who's up on the outside of the front row. There's our man, William Byron, up there on the front.
Let's check in with Hermie on Daniel Hemrick.
As you guys mentioned, good break for Hemrick in the 19. Made a couple trips to pit road, got tires, made a track bar adjustment, also fixed some left front damage. So Hemrick's got a chance to make something good out of a bad situation.
Oh, and also a bad day. It started off with crashing his first time on the racetrack, and now he's going to find himself in contention for a strong finish.
Let's also mention that Spencer Gallagher and Jordan Anderson took the wave around on the last caution. Now they're back on the lead lap with the lead lap trucks.
Great point. Ready to restart, and the teammates of KBM out front again, but this time it's Suarez and William Byron. Suarez on the inside to the point.
Look at Ben Kennedy, that 33 truck, trying to hold on to second.
And remember, that's where William Byron's been running as he's raced his way through the field up on the outside, so he knows what to do up there. Can't do anything with the strong running fast truck of Ben Kennedy. Ben's been really putting the pressure on everyone he catches. I think he's sniffing a victory.
How about Caleb Holman driving that thing underneath the 71 of Brandon Jones to grab a spot?
Yeah, Brandon Jones got a little out of shape, lost several positions. Holman, who had such a great run here at Bristol last year, another strong showing here tonight.
There's Christopher Bell, the Ford truck, trying to make his way back towards the front. He knows that the laps are winding down. We're inside of 50 to go now.
Bell restarted 12th. Scored an extra position here and is on the march. We'll see if he can make up some of those spots on the outside.
Brandon Jones really holding this pack up right here. You see Reddick now got into the back bumper of him, moved him up the racetrack, gets underneath him.
John West Townley racing hard down on the inside of Bell. He's going to try to get around Jones as well. This is a good battle.
All for position back there around 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th.
Kaz Gralla on the inside of Bell. Bell's losing spots on that high side.
Just hung on the outside. Ooh, a little bit of contact. He jumped down in front of the 23 at Gallagher.
Yeah, the 71 of Jones was holding Bell up. Now that Bell has gotten to the inside and around Jones, see if he can continue to move forward.
Got Johnny Sauter right there in the 21 truck. He was the free pass recipient this most recent caution.
Austin Hill drives around Brandon Jones. He's a lap down, but trying to get up there and battle for that free pass.
Christopher Bell was leading the race and spun just after a restart on the inside of his teammate Daniel Suarez. Now Sauter on the back end of Bell as Bell tries to come back through the field.
Good corner that time for Christopher Bell. Drove a couple truck lengths away from Johnny Sauter.
When Spencer Gallagher drifted up the track, got out of the groove, almost gets into the 4. Watch that 23 and the 4.
Whoa.
That like that truck wouldn't turn when he got down to the corner.
That would have turned that Ford truck around so quick he would have known what happened.
And sometimes that's what happens when you have a problem when you're running in the front, and then you get back deep into the field, and then you get mixed up because you're in so much traffic.
As we switch back and take a look at our leader, Daniel Suarez, right now, I think Christopher Bell finds himself in the exact same position that William Byron was in earlier. Couldn't get by some of the slower trucks. Once he got by him, he drove to the front, and now he runs right there in the third spot, going for second.
And you know how he made that move, Phil? He went to the top of the racetrack to get the momentum off the corner. He's going to make that pass work. Now he'll see if he can track down Daniel Suarez.
So Byron passed Kennedy for second place. And now Byron will set his sights, as Michael said, on his teammate, the 51 of Daniel Suarez.
Guys, we've watched William Byron have an amazing season this year. 5 wins already, but he may learn more in this race, Michael, than any one of those other wins he got this year.
I guarantee you he will, Phil. When he was stuck back in traffic, he couldn't pass on the bottom. He couldn't get around the lap truck of Austin Cindric. He used that high groove to make it. Oh, we got a crash off 4.
It's the 49 going around. That's Bryce Napier.
Well, he didn't.
He saved it, but he did get sideways and take some right side damage.
Yeah, I think Christopher Bell was involved in that, trying to get by some trucks. They made a little contact. I'm not sure if it was Christopher that got into the 49. Let's see what happened there. He's trying to get by Kaz Grala. He has an opening on the inside that just ran out of room there.
And I think NASCAR saw this crash happening and threw the caution. I would have too, but Napier did a nice job of using the wall and keeping that truck heading in the right direction.
Another caution, but we are nearing the end. 37 to go with Suarez looking for his first win. It has been a day of drama, beginning with practice. Right out of the gate, we had a chase contender, Daniel Hemrick, crash early in practice, have to go to the backup. We saw the drivers in that first practice avoid that bottom groove, that new polished groove down on the bottom. Then in the second practice, all of a sudden everybody found grip in that bottom groove. They were there qualifying. We saw the track record shattered. Tonight, it's been racing side by side all over the place.
And right now, Daniel Suarez is trying to take his name off that list of the most second place finishes without a win here in the Truck Series.
Yeah, he finished second in the Xfinity race here last spring. He to a very dominant Joey Logano. So Daniel has taken to this track, one of the toughest in NASCAR, very well. Wouldn't be surprising to anyone to see him drive to victory lane tonight. But William Byron has a different plan. He used that high side Hermie Sadler to pass Ben Kennedy and get to second. Be interesting to see what he can do with the leader.
We're watching the leaders, Michael, but also the chase bubble. Sitting on that bubble, Cameron Haley, he's a lap down pit road 2 times under this caution, trying to make repairs. He thinks the track bar may be broken.
Another costly blow to a driver trying to make his way into the chase on points. Ready to go green again. Teammates, Suarez inside, Byron outside.
William Byron moves up the racetrack to get that momentum, and he's going to grab that second spot from the 33. Hold him back.
Cleared Ben Kennedy, and he went to the extreme high side, higher than we've seen anyone else. Be interesting to see if he uses that to try to run down Suarez.
Remember, he ran 500 laps here in the test earlier, primarily on the outside of the racetrack.
There's been a lot of give and take throughout the course of this night just because you've had to, but now with approaching the 30 to go mark, now 30 to go, it's going to be all take, no give.
Looks like something's gone wrong with the 75 truck of Caleb Holman, losing a bunch of positions now.
Yeah, he gets it righted off turn 2, but you're right, he gets pushed up the track, Phil, and he is free falling.
And we saw that truck going to the front, making some nice passes. Just not, it's not what it was earlier, for sure.
Slipping outside the top 10 and continuing to fall as Kaz Grala goes underneath.
He can get in the corner, but in the center of the corner, as the caution is out, trouble on the backstretch.
Truck up against the wall.
Jordan Anderson had worked his way, stayed on the lead lap. Let's see if he can get that truck turned around before Suarez gets there, and he does. He will stay on the lead lap. What a great run Jordan Anderson's having tonight, guys.
Yeah, he's inside the top 15 on the lead lap, and then goes for a spin on the back straightaway, but no damage to that 66 truck, so you can see a little bit of the...
4 tires.
I like that. Let's get 4 tires, see what we can get here with 28 laps to go.
Yeah, let's get caught up first.
Boy, key move, getting that truck backed up and going before Suarez got around to put him a lap down.
Got a bunch of trucks right now, 1 lap down. Kaz Grala leads that group. He will get the free pass, put Kaz back on the lead lap.
Yeah, Jesse Little just behind Kaz, and then Austin Cindric, who's fought from the beginning to try to get back into contention. He's done a nice job. He runs in 19th a lap down. You know, Phil, I think that the 9 truck of William Byron, he's going to need a long run if he's going to do anything with Daniel. It looks like Daniel's able to pull away for 8 or 10 laps, and then their times sort of equalize. So probably if we can get a run to the checker, we might see a battle for the lead. But if we keep having these repeated cautions, as long as Suarez doesn't stumble on these restarts, he's been really strong on the short haul.
I think William did a terrific job to keep the 33 of Ben Kennedy behind him. Made a nice move, went up high off of turn 2, got some momentum, and beat Ben down to turn 3 to hold on to that second spot.
Well, what a job Kennedy has done tonight, and he came into this race tied with Cameron Haley for that final spot in the chase standings. But Haley's had some problems, and Kennedy has moved up. Now he's in that 8th and final spot for the chase.
Yeah, look at Haley now, back 17 points out of that bubble spot.
We're gonna talk about the bouncing around of those bubbles from now until we line up to run this chase.
That looks like a full moon.
Yeah, we'll have a 25 laps left here when they get back around here. A lot of stuff can go on here in 25 laps.
And it's gonna.
You just think they're fighting for space now. Wait till we get inside 20, inside 10 laps to go.
Brett Moffitt with his brain gear.
You think he's focused?
I know he's focused. He's ready for these last 20 laps in under a full moon. He might be the favorite. See that 11 truck with another great job of that young racer hopping in here and running right up in the top 5.
He's been in that truck 3 times, had great runs. Kentucky was very fast, lost an engine really early, then goes to Pocono and finishes 3rd in that 11 truck, and that got him 3 more races here.
It's a good looking ride, and he's taking good care of it. Talked about these trucks having battle scars when the night's over. Daniel Hemrick's got his left front fender tore off, but his right side looks nice, and John Hunter Nemechek is taking good care of that truck as well.
Yeah, and let's also shout out to Matt Tiff, too, because Matt was supposed to be in that 11 truck. Obviously had some brain surgery. Doing extremely well, though. Hello, Matt.
Let's check in with Hermie on the 13.
But we documented the 13 last driver right now inside the chase line. He thought for a moment it was a track bar issue. Now they've diagnosed it as an upper control arm that is broken. They're replacing that right now, but have lost 2 more laps on pit road. Tough break for the 13.
Boy, it's been a tough day all the way around for ThorSport. Matt Crafton already out of the race.
And Haley's in the 22nd position right now, Vince, and he could fall all the way back to 26. Travis Guapo's 26 now, 3 laps down. He loses another lap. Could lose some all-important points while trying to make our playoffs.
Yeah, that upper control arm is not a very quick change either, so.
How about this 71? What's happening here with the position right here? Well, looks like there was a big, everybody slowed down, and the 71 had to swerve to keep from running into the back of the 21. I think Cole Custer almost got into the 71.
Had a bit of a bottleneck there, didn't it?
Well, we're getting ready to go green again. Another restart. There's always crazy action on these restarts. It's Suarez and William Byron out front. Kennedy and Nemechek in row 2.
Watch how high William goes here. Looks at the run he gets off of turn 2. Easily clears the 33 of Kennedy.
That is the groove from last year, last spring. That really high groove that looks like Williams tempted to go up there and try to make a big, strong run up high.
He's got a bit of a gap over the 33. He can go up there and play around.
Look at the momentum he gets. He's going there. He's going to try to make the old groove work.
And he catches teammate Daniel Suarez. Suarez keeping it on the bottom. Now Suarez moves up.
Oh, that's going to cost him. That's going to cost him that position.
The crossover, and William Byron to the front now, to the lead.
Unbelievable. 18 years old, and he's able to pull that off.
Wow. And look where he's going. He knows how he got the lead. That upper groove has finally taken over. The sticky substance they put down on the bottom is worn off.
Oh, William lost some ground there off of 4. He lost the lead to Ben Kennedy.
How about Ben Kennedy going to the front now?
He went a little bit too high. He got the right sides up too high, guys.
Ben Kennedy in front.
And now here comes Brett Moffitt.
William Byron for second, so Moffitt and Byron battling. Moffitt's going to get the position.
You can see that high line is either high or nothing. You can't run through the middle. Let's see what happens to William Byron. A big gap over Ben Kennedy as they head to 3.
He has a half of truck links, but look how high he gets. That's higher than anybody's run. He gets loose up there. Had to wait on the throttle, and Ben drove by.
Awesome job by Ben Kennedy. He's been so fast in that 33 truck this season, and now he finds himself in the lead with just 16 laps to go at Bristol Motor Speedway. This is a huge moment for that young man.
That's one way to solidify your spot in the chase here. How about going to victory lane?
First time Ben Kennedy has led laps this season. Camping World 15 to go at Bristol.
Ooh, Brett Moffitt missed the corner down there.
There's John Hunter Nemechek racing inside of Byron for that 3rd spot.
Well, William is committed to the high side there.
Maybe just what Kennedy wants to see. He wants to see Nemechek and Byron going side by side, battling one another, maybe slowing them each other down a little bit.
Outside wall, yellow, yellow, yellow.
And now a caution. Suarez has gone around.
Big contact by Daniel Suarez.
We blew that right real.
Boy, how quickly it changes. Hermie?
It was a right rear tire that was flat. He caught it on the radio. When he bobbled up the racetrack, he started to feel it. He tried to get back to the bottom of the racetrack and ride it out, but it finally lost enough air to cause him to spin on the racetrack. But a right rear tire was the issue for the 51.
Look at that heavy damage to the 51 truck. You kind of seem to forget sometimes these guys are running 130 miles an hour down into the corner until something goes wrong, and that truck is horseshoed.
Guys, we talked about a lot of stuff can happen in the last 25 laps. We saw William Byron take the lead over. We saw him lose the lead to Ben Kennedy, and now we see Suarez into the outside wall with a flat tire.
See, he walks gingerly on that banking.
So Suarez, who led 79 laps tonight, is done. His first Camping World Truck Series victory will not come tonight. Christopher Bell has led the most laps tonight. He's led 99. He spun from the lead just after a restart in a battle with Suarez.
Look at this move. William Byron up to where no one else has gone, tucks it to the bottom, makes a perfect crossover move, and we thought he was going to sprint away. But when you take the lead on the high side, how do you just abandon it?
Give it up.
Yeah, and he tried to run on the bottom and even in the middle of the track, and Ben Kennedy in that 33 truck was able to close right in.
You can see Suarez, just nothing he could do.
Stay low, stay low, stay low, stay low, caution, caution.
That tire went down as he got in the corner and just along for the ride. Then look at all the damage to that Aris Toyota.
Going to be less than 10 to go when we end up going back to green.
Jesse Little, we talked about the battle for that free pass to get back in contention. He has won that battle, and he will get the free pass, be back on the lead lap, see if he can rally up for a top 10 finish. Ben Kennedy, this is the biggest night of his NASCAR career, and it's on a big stage here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
It's going to be the biggest restart he's ever had to endure.
Let's watch how Ben Kennedy came to be the leader in this race. He's chasing William Byron at the 9.
Yeah, William has a big lead here, but he's committed to the high side, winning a little bit high. Looked like he got a little bit loose getting in the corner. That forced him up even a little bit more and lost some grip. Let's listen to the 9 truck.
Inside, 33, hit your front. Clear there, clear. Get back to the bottom.
I think he had some stuff on his tires there.
Clear low, clear low, clear low.
Got a little bit higher than anybody had run. He's really the only guy that's been running up high. Got a little bit higher than he'd been running.
Ben Kennedy certainly liked what he saw out his windshield with that 9 truck a little bit sideways, was able to take advantage of that and grab the lead.
The first laps led for Ben Kennedy this season. Can he stay out front? We're going to have less than 10 to go to the finish when we come back. It has been exciting all night long, and it is not going to be any different over these final laps. William Byron had the lead, lost it will restart third. Caitlin, what's happening with that 9 group?
Well, he told his crew chief, Rudy Fugel, he said, I am so loose I cannot run the bottom. And his crew chief responded, yes, we know. Something is broken. We'll tell you after the race. You will better understand. And I asked one of the crew guys if he could explain to me what it was. He said, we believe it might be the left rear shock mount. And the 29 team of Reddick just said there's a shock falling off that 9 truck.
Keep an eye on that here in the final lap. 6 to go. Ben Kennedy on the restart. He has the lead. Brett Moffitt in second.
Great battle for third there. There's William Byron, the 9, Nemechek in the 8.
How can Byron hang on to that thing in that traffic without a shock on it? He's doing a nice job, but look at the lead. Moffitt's going to be all over the back of Kennedy.
Ben Kennedy trying to secure the win and a spot in the chase. Brett Moffitt not chase eligible, but you know that win would mean so much on this limited schedule, and the great job he's done in his brief appearances.
And driving for a ride, driving for his life out there.
And the reason why he has this opportunity is because of the way he's performed. But he's thinking a win at Bristol. This is Bristol, baby.
How about Daniel Hemrick running third right now, guys, trying to solidify his spot in the chase?
Ben Kennedy needs to drive 3 perfect laps. He only has 2.5 more to go to do that. He's just a notch up off the bottom of the racetrack. Hope he doesn't slip up too far because Moffitt is there.
2 laps to go for Ben Kennedy. Moffitt chasing. Both trying to secure their first win.
Boy, Moffitt's all over him. He can nudge him if he wants to.
Deep into the corner. Gives him a little bump.
Moffitt's going to nudge him, I believe. He's got 2 chances to do it.
The white flag lap. Ben Kennedy trying to hold off Moffitt.
Great corner by Ben Kennedy.
Strong exit. I don't think Moffitt can get there.
Ben Kennedy through 3 and 4. He's going to do it. Ben Kennedy wins at Bristol.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a race. Ben Kennedy victorious, his first career win, and securing a spot in the chase and an opportunity to win a championship.
What an amazing job. GMS went to victory lane with Kyle Larson at Eldora a couple races ago. But how about Ben Kennedy going to victory lane here at Bristol and locking himself in the chase?
We've seen this coming, Bill. The 33 truck, Ben Kennedy, has just improved week in and week out, faster and faster. And
Buddy, you're in the chase.
Buddy, you're in the chase. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
I know he's got a very happy mother sitting around here somewhere. She's been a big supporter of Ben's. I remember racing against him in Montana 5 or 6 years ago. He was just getting started, and she was there supporting him then, and she's here now.
Oh, what a happy team that must be, Herbie.
And Joey Cohen, first win for Ben Kennedy, first win for you as a crew chief as well, and you do it at Bristol. How about that?
Amazing. I would have never pictured, coming here. We were planning on more races ahead, like Canada, intermediates down the way. I mean, really, we were just taking it a week at a time, just trying to point our way in. But this is exactly what we needed. We're going to race for a championship now. God's so good, blessed us right here. So we're going to go and carry on a race for a championship.
That's Joey Cohen. He's going to victory lane.
Amen. When this season started, Ben Kennedy didn't even have a full-time ride. In fact, switched teams from Red Horse to GMS Racing. And now he is going to victory lane at Bristol. Ben Kennedy, a winner. Back at Bristol Motor Speedway, where Ben Kennedy has scored his first career win. And with that victory, secures a spot in the chase. 8 drivers will make it, and we've had 6 winners that are chase eligible, and that leaves Hemrick and Peters feeling pretty good about themselves with points. Not all the way in, but that's a nice pad, 29 and 39 points.
Look at down at 11. Wasn't Cameron Haley in the last playoff spot when we came into this race here tonight?
And just think about this too. You talk about feeling good, Vince. Cole Custer can win any of the next races, and so can Tyler Reddick. That would bounce one of those guys out. It's all about winning now.
How about the job Hemrick did in a backup today, and what that team did after crashing in that first practice, comes all the way back, finishes 3rd tonight.
That's a championship effort right there is what that is.
And that's what we expected out of Daniel Hemrick. He knew he made a mistake. First time on the track, put his team in a real pickle, and he was able to fight back and get a top 3.
Can you imagine the joy in the heart of that young man right there, Ben Kennedy, winning his first career Camping World Truck Series event?
Jacob Companies has been a great partner to Ben Kennedy, and I know he's really proud not only to win for GMS and to drive into victory lane for himself. He's been racing hard to try to win, and he did just that, and now he's going to get to take his sponsor right to victory lane with him.
Yeah, let's congratulate Maury Gallagher, too, the man that owns this team, along 4 teams for GMS Racing. They went to victory lane with Kyle Larson, and here they are going to victory lane with Ben Kennedy.
And they've done so much in the development of the infrastructure of that team. They continue to grow it, not just in the Truck Series, but the Xfinity Series as well, doing so much. And there's Spencer Gallagher coming in to give his teammate a big congratulatory smack on the helmet. Apologize for that language that you heard there, but Ben Kennedy taking congratulations from crew chief. Mike Beam was in there as well. Boy, Beam has done such a terrific job leading this organization.
Yeah, general manager over there at GMS Racing.
Talk about experience. Mike Beam was my crew chief back in 1989, and he knows a whole lot about racing, and he certainly has shown his presence and his influence on this team.
Hermie Sadler is in victory lane. He's going to greet a very, very happy Ben Kennedy.
Well, here he is, first career victory in the Camping World Truck Series, and what a racetrack to do it. The Bristol Motor Speedway for Ben Kennedy. Ben, I know it's a lot going on through your mind right now, but put into words, how do you describe your first career victory and getting it done at Bristol Motor Speedway?
I can't put it into words. Someone asked me earlier today what it's like coming to Bristol for your first time, and to win here, and I mean, this is so cool. I'm speechless. The guys gave me an awesome truck. Everybody at GMS Racing, Jacob Companies, the fans in the stands, everybody watching on TV. Gosh, this is the coolest day of my life. I don't know how to say it any other way.
2 to go, the 11 got to your back bumper, put a little pressure on you, but your 1 and 2 on your white flag lap may have been the best lap that you ran all night and sealed the victory. What were you thinking when that 11 truck was trying to make a move?
I don't know. I was just thinking, go as fast as possible on this last lap. I knew Brett was putting pressure on me from behind. Appreciate him racing me clean, though, and this is just so cool. These guys deserve it. They work so hard. We put this deal together a couple months ago, and I never would have imagined going into this race that we would be here today. I mean, I thought we were a top 15 truck or a top 10 truck, but to actually be here in victory lane, it means the world to me.
That's Ben Kennedy. He's in victory lane at Bristol. Caitlin?
Well, Hermie, Brett Moffitt was the runner-up here at Bristol. Strong run from you and your team. Did you feel like you had anything else for the 33 there at the end?
It was really tough. Once he got in clean air, it's tough to beat him. Even at the short tracks like Bristol, clean air is king. And we had enough to get to him, and he slipped up a few times, but he needed one more mistake, and I think we would have had a shot at it. But all in all, it was a good day. We had a good Toyota Tundra. Can't thank Tom DeLoach and everyone at Red Horse enough for the car they brought, and hope to get him next week.
Brett Moffitt leaves Bristol Motor Speedway with the top 5.
Well, nothing to be ashamed of right there.
Yeah, and I love the fact that he knows he has a next week in that truck.
That's right, and I love just the sincere happiness we saw in Ben Kennedy's eyes. This is a big night for that young man. Any win is special at Bristol Motor Speedway, especially your first one.
We'll go to Michigan International Speedway next week. Completely different track than what we have here at Bristol, but boy, you know it's going to be fun. For Caitlin Vincey and Hermie Sadler, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip, I'm Vince Welch. Congratulations, Ben Kennedy, a winner at Bristol.